Welcome to the Healing Her Story podcast, a podcast where we reclaim our stories, reconnect with our bodies, and remember the wisdom we were never taught and yet always carried. I'm your host, Riva Jean-Paul, a trauma-informed somatic practitioner, menstrual cycle coach, interdisciplinary artist, and guide for women walking the path of healing, awakening, and becoming. This show is for the woman who's tired of holding it all together, for the one who's done the talk therapy, read the books, and tried to meditate her way through the pain, and is now ready to go deeper. We live in a world that asks so much of women, a world that rewards our silence, praises our productivity, and shames our sensitivity. The systems we've been raised in were not built for our bodies, our rhythms, or our truth. But here, we do things differently. Together, we explore the cycles of the natural world and the menstrual cycle, the medicine of somatics, the power of creative expression, and the radical act of slowing down. Each episode is a journey through personal reflections, seasonal rhythms, expert conversations, and the deeper layers of what it means to heal from the inside out. Because healing isn't about fixing what's broken, because I do not believe you are broken. It's about remembering who you are and reconnecting with the wisdom and the healing intelligence that lives inside of you. I am so glad you are here. Let's begin. Fighting for the voice of the womb, diving to the depths of my womb, singing the truth of my womb, trusting the phases of the moon. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Healing Her Story podcast. As always, so delighted and honored to be here with you today to share this week's feminine wisdom and how it can support you in your own growth, healing, and transformation process. If you are returning, welcome back. So glad that you have decided to return to continue remembering all of this, which I believe already lives within you. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy that you have found us, that you have found this community of cycle breakers who are here to cultivate the feminine frequency, both within them and also within our collective. And I truly believe this is the medicine that our world needs in these times where there is so much pain and violence and oppression and grief and loss and massive change that is happening now. And it can be a bit much, I will say. And I believe that doing this work is a way. It's a way that we can do our part, because when we are doing this work, it's to me so much more than just cycle syncing and working with the new moon and the full moon and manifesting. Sure, it's those things. And to me, it is something so much more deeper. It is about a way of being in this patriarchal world where many of us are overstimulated, overwhelmed, living at a rate that is unsustainable. This is how we unravel ourselves from all of that, by tuning in to these natural rhythms and cycles that are already happening, by the way. So whether you're working with them or not, they are happening. And it's amazing. I have found my life has been amazing as I've learned how to really work with these cycles instead of working against them. So I'm here to help you do that this week. And I'm excited. Let's get ready to dive in. Before we do, let's take our minute of silence like we usually do, always do, on these cycle sync episodes. And in this minute of silence, you are invited to come into a place of more presence with yourself, whatever that may look like, whether you're driving or doing some chores around the home or just got something going on in the background, seeing what it would be like to maybe slow down and to notice your breath. And as you notice your breath, maybe noticing how the body feels, maybe noticing how the heart feels, maybe noticing how your spirit feels, your mind feels. And as you begin to tune in, you also might begin to sense where you are in your own unique rhythm. Because yes, there is this larger rhythm and cycle of the moon and even of the bigger cycles of the seasons. And you have your own unique rhythm happening inside of you. So I hope that you can begin to tune into that today. And if you're not sure, that's totally okay too. I think just having these moments of pause and reflection is a big piece of it. Just taking a moment to slow down and notice. So I'll let you do that now, and we will come back together in a minute. That was just a little over a minute. I hope that minute was nourishing for you, maybe fruitful or perhaps insightful in some way. For me today, just taking a moment to remember where I am in my cycle. I'm cycle day 11 today, which means I'm on the tail end of my follicular phase and getting ready to head into the ovulation phase. And this is usually where things start to get a little tricky for me. My last ovulation was quite, it was okay, and it had its challenges. And so I worked with my menstrual cycle coach recently this past week, and we discussed things, and I've got some things to explore and play with over the next cycle, this next phase rather, and over the next few weeks of this cycle. So curious to see how those things can begin to shift. As of right now, I'm feeling good. I've got a nice wave of hope and fresh energy to start a couple of not necessarily new things, but projects that are kind of more in their early stages. So I'm sensing this new wave of momentum beginning to build. And I'm also kind of sensing this urge to slow down now that we are in the season of fall here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's been an interesting dance these past couple of weeks. And yeah, it's always interesting during this time. I find my cycle check-ins are usually much shorter during these phases. When I say these, I mean the follicular and the ovulation phase. And I think that's because the estrogen is flowing and there is this sense of feeling good and happy and content. And so there's maybe not as many things to complain to complain about. I don't know if that's the right word. It's the word that I chose though. So yeah, not a whole lot more to share. Things are feeling good right now, and I'm sure I'll have more things to share on the other side of my inner summer. This week, the week of September 29th, oh my goodness, October is right around the corner. We are attuning to the energy of the waxing moon. And today, right at the time this is airing, we're moving through the first quarter moon. The first quarter moon is one of those two phases where the moon's illumination is perfectly split 50-50. It's a short, fleeting moment in the cycle, and it carries an important invitation to choose and then to act. During the previous phase, the new moon, the inner winter, menstruation, we're called to rest, restore, and turn inward. It's a time to sense what new life, project, idea, or version of yourself is ready to emerge. And now, as the light builds and the energies shift toward the more yang energy, what's been budding begins to take form. This is the moment to move forward. And yet, this is the exact place where I see so many women on their healing journeys get stuck. Instead of acting, they overanalyze. They talk about the next step, try to find the perfect solution, or wait until everything feels crystal clear. And here's the truth, or what I believe to be the truth through my own lived experience. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from action, which might sound counterintuitive. And I swear, this is how it works. I would encourage you to try it. Experiment, see what it's like. And please let me know how it works for you. I have really found that each step reveals the next. With every action, you can uncover new information, guidance, and momentum. And my experience has often felt like the path shows itself only once I start walking. This is especially true in trauma healing. Action helps complete nervous system cycles, sometimes moving away from something, being flight, or sometimes moving towards something, which is fight. That's why so often we actually feel better after taking action. Think about it. Maybe you've been avoiding a hard conversation. You've been ruminating, processing over with your therapist, feeling anxious about it over and over. And once you finally step into the discomfort and have the conversation, even if it doesn't go perfectly, often you feel lighter. That anxious part of you finally gets to relax because you have faced what you were avoiding. And that's the medicine of this particular moon phase. And there's a direct connection to the menstrual cycle too. In the follicular phase, as estrogen rises, many women experience an anxiety spike. There's a few episodes where I've talked about this before. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do to channel that energy is small, tangible actions. Decluttering a space, maybe sweeping your front porch, clearing out your inbox. Little acts of spring cleaning, both physically and mentally, can help shift the energy. And now that eclipse season is behind us, there's also a beautiful moment to integrate the lessons you've been moving through. For me, that's meant making small but important adjustments in my friendships and groups, the exact areas where the eclipse was most active in my chart. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten to share the tool that will help you see where the new moons and full moons are landing for you. That'll be coming soon. So this week, I invite you to remember that as much as the feminine is about receiving and allowing, co-creation also invites us to meet life halfway. The first quarter moon is here to remind us that choosing and taking action is part of the dance. We're also in Libra season right now, and I'm excited to be discussing all things Libra themes for the next few weeks. I am also a Libra sun, so this is my season. My birthday is coming up on the 18th. So I look forward to returning for another episode on Friday to continue discussing these themes of relationships, beauty. We also might explore a little bit of justice and balance. We started our conversation on beauty last week with Jamie, and she shared about how our skin changes across the menstrual cycle. And we also discussed beauty standards as well. So if you haven't listened to that, I invite you to also attune to this energy of Libra season as well by listening to that episode. And if you specifically need support with these themes this week about taking action and moving forward, I've got some somatic meditations for you in the show notes. Thanks so much for making it till the end of today's episode. Before you go, if this episode spoke to your heart, moved something in you, or offered a moment of clarity, or perhaps helped you to feel even just a little bit more seen or heard or understood, I invite you to please share this episode with a friend. Together, we create space for the feminine frequency to rise, not just in us as individuals, but in our families, in our communities, and ultimately in our collective. And this is how we do it, by sharing one story at a time, by having one conversation at a time, by taking one small step at a time. And if you're wanting to support the podcast even more, it truly helps to leave a 5-star rating and review. Your words help other women find this space, feel seen, and know that they're not alone on their healing journeys. As a thank you, when you leave a review, take a screenshot and email it to me at riva@windsofchangesac.com. I'll give you a free registration to our online trauma-informed breathwork circle for women held on Zoom every third Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a powerful space for release, restoration, and real connection. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for helping this work ripple outward. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Fighting for the voice of the womb, clearing the pain from your womb, creating new life from your womb, rebuilding with the phases of the moon.